Hey, all right. Welcome back to Raff's Brain, a show about things that are interesting to me. I am your host, Rob Raffety. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a very special episode of Raff's Brain tonight. It's my friend and former colleague, is my first ever special guest interview. The one, the only, the extraordinary, magnificent man, Hoa Phan. How you doing, Hoa?
I'm doing well, Raffy. Thank you for having me.
Well,
And
thank
yeah,
you.
thank you.
No, thank you for having, the courage to step forward to this forum of discussion and conversation and enlightenment. We're gonna have a great conversation, and it's just nice of you. You're very gracious, and I appreciate your friendship and time. So thank you very much. Now, listen, folks, I don't think you appreciate this gentleman before you right now. He is extraordinary. I was trying to go back and remember. I can't believe how quickly time flies. When we first met, which I think I'm gonna guess we're like running up on a little bit over 10 years, if that sounds right.
I think we met in 2012, so
Oh my
it's a
gosh,
bit
12
yeah.
years! 12
Oh,
years!
crazy, right?
Get out of here.
Yeah. So how it all started is I was an intern in the summer of 2012 where Rafi and I we used to work. It's a nonprofit that does a lot of policy research and also educational aspect as well. I think I don't know what it is, but I think we kind of clicked right away. Obviously, as you've been listening to Raffety, he has a certain sense of humor and oddity. I'll say little quirks, little quirks, and that I appreciate. And also with me, I think at the time I was just right out of college. I guess it was a new place for me, moving all the way from California to Washington, D.C., the DMV area. I didn't really know anybody, so it was nice to, I don't know somebody as a friendly face that I see every day.
That's right. You made a great impression, man. You were very attentive to detail. I noticed this very quickly. Hua was the guy. He's the first face you would see when you walked out of the elevator at our office, and he was always there. You were always there early. You always stayed late, and you were quick with a smile and a warm hello. And I was like, this guy's customer service all the way. I love that mentality. You enjoyed what you were doing. I just like that ethos about you. So we got to know each other. We went out to, you would go out to the Vietnamese restaurant or some other place nearby in Arlington. There's a
hmm
lot of
hmm
options. I think a couple
hmm
times we even bounced out to the Eden Center, which
We
is like,
did, we did.
and you tried to like introduce me to some crazy foods and gourmet. It's obviously outside of my normal cuisine. But yeah, I always enjoyed those memories. We went shopping there. I remember we went
That's right.
shopping once, and you were like certain fruits or vegetables you had to have for a
hmm
particular
hmm
meal that you
hmm
were making.
Exactly,
So
exactly.
yeah, and then another thing about you, which I noticed, which I don't have, which you know that I don't have, which is a strong fashion sense. And this ultimately is what this was encouraging to me. When you left the job where we met, we stayed in touch, but you were like an independent kind of fashion guy there in DC for a while. I bought some suits off of you. We stayed in touch. You're back now in San Jose area.
hmm
So
hmm
it's like we're still keeping in touch, which is cool. And I think last time I actually saw you in person might have been during COVID when you were in town briefly. And that was
Last year, actually, last year
what?
around this time.
What did we
Yeah,
do
yeah, yeah.
last year? Where did I see you?
I think we got some coffee or
Oh
tea.
my gosh. Wow, you're
Remember
making me
that?
look bad,
Okay.
dude. You're right. Yes. I think time is just elusive. I forget what year it is. I don't know how to place anything since 2020. Yeah, that's right. We grabbed coffee down near my old office.
That's right. That's right.
So that's awesome. And then you told me a story recently. This is folks. Enough of the pleasantries. I want to get into what I think is an awesome story because this podcast is about stories and just fascinating behaviors of human beings. When Hua came to America, I think you said you were third grade. Tell us a little bit about that experience. Right? You were was it third grade or younger? I can't remember.
It was the transitional from fourth to fifth. So
Fourth
I,
to
I
fifth.
was
Right.
I guess I just turned 10. Yeah, so basically my family and I we immigrated from Vietnam in was it year oh yeah, there we go. August 1999. So it's been I don't know, 25 years or so,
That's
right?
impressive. Now, what's
Yeah.
interesting, you did not speak English when you came here. You had not. So this is a massive
Broken.
culture.
Yeah,
I mean,
everything was new.
this
Everything
is
was
a
very new.
real bold and brave moment.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
you moved to San Jose. Is that right?
Actually, first in Milpitas, which is neighbor San Jose.
Okay,
So
so
it's about the same proximity.
in that area,
Hmm.
and you're going to school. I'm guessing that's an interesting experience. I mean,
Hmm.
are the kids friendly? Are they like suspicious of you? Do you fit in?
Uh,
Tell me about that.
I think if we really look back, I think when you're a kid, everything was new. So I always appreciate going a different route to school, right, or from or to school, because again, everything is new, right? Everything is new. If I go to someone else's house, and so I would say my first vivid memory of landing here in the U.S. So we landed in SFO, which is the San Francisco International Airport. And in San Francisco, if you ever been, there's like multiple overpass because you got the international, you got the domestic, and everything. And I remember we were there just I guess waiting for my aunts and family members to kind of come pick us up because obviously we didn't have the car or anything. And I remember looking outside just right before the gate, and I just see the massive overpass. I'm like, man, like America is large. Everything is just bigger, bigger, bigger. And now mind you, back in Vietnam, we don't really have highway like like we have here in the US. I mean, it seems like I think now they develop some kind of highway system, but again, it's not as complex as over here. And obviously, we back in Vietnam, they usually drive moped or like a very small two two wheels set of the four wheels that we have here. So obviously, everything's a little bit smaller. But that really, I think, kind of really solidified my outlook of the U.S. of America. Everything just big because I mean, geographically it's big. People are also bigger. I think I would say I'm relatively small compared to most American. But if I go to back in Vietnam, I'm actually a little bit bigger than most. So it's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy. So now kind of following up, my uh, obviously being Asian and also Vietnamese as well. They love Costco, get the deals, discount, wholesale. So I remember my aunt took my parents and I there. I'm like, whoa, this warehouse thing with a whole bunch of stuff. It's also big, big and large. Basically, what makes America great, really. And then I remember I started going, I started going to school, and I discover, kids there love candy, and now I don't know if you guys know, but candy in Vietnam or a lot of Asian countries isn't as sweet as the treats here. The candy, there's candy, but it's a very different form, very different taste, different flavor. In Vietnam, we'll have also in Asian country, you have like shrimp flavor, crabs. So it's a very savory, kind of meaty, not necessarily meaty, but it's just very different. But over here, we'll have like potato chips and like jalapeno, which I love, salt and pepper, vinegar, that kind of, it's a very different affection. But anyhow, discover kids, they love candies, a lot of candies. All right. And obviously there wasn't any vending machine and everything. I guess the state of California kind of banned that, trying to help all the kids eat healthy and everything.
Were
And
there were
then
so there wasn't they you knew they loved candy,
that's
but
why.
they
That's
didn't
why.
have they didn't have access to it. They would maybe bring it from
That's why.
home if they had it. They would bring it.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. Exactly. And what I saw was that when I go to Costco, it's like this whole aisle of just snacks,
Yeah.
candies and chips. And so I'm like, I have an idea. I was like, wait a minute, why don't I just buy some of this, right? And just bring it in my backpack and just sell at school. So you buy wholesale, you sell individually, for all the kids and everything. And I would make some money. Now, I would say, well, one of the big part was that I personally wanted to try some of these candies, like Kit Kat, Payday,
You got
Snickers,
to test the
M&M.
merchandise, man. You got to taste it.
Exactly.
That's,
Yeah, 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 yeah. I think my favorite was the gummy worms. The gummy worms. This one is it's powder with I think with salt or sugar or something like that. It's
yeah, it
very
depends, man.
chewy.
this is fantastic. Yes, that's a popular item, the gummy worm.
Right. The
All
gummy
right.
worms. The
Maybe
gummy
it was,
worm.
it might have even been seasoned with some sour powder or something like that, it sounds like. But
Could be. Could be. Could be.
okay.
Could be.
So you
Could be.
taste tested, you sampled, you got like a little
Mhm.
and how did you explain to your parents? They're like, hey, they did now. So first of all, your
Yep.
family very entrepreneurial, right? Like I think your
Hmm.
father
Hmm.
is like a business guy. He must have been very proud of you to have these instincts, the
That's
arbitrage,
right. That's right.
man,
That's right.
arbitrage.
Yeah, yeah. So he was full in. So obviously at the at the time I didn't have any money. So
But he
he was
bankrolled
like,
you.
hey, yeah, exactly, exactly, exactly.
Did he
So
take a
we
cut of
definitely
your
start small.
profits?
Again I don't remember, but I
It's
guess
okay.
yeah they I guess I they I think I think they let me keep all the
You had to
profit
pay back
basically.
a little bit to get, to get the next bag. Now, did it start slow, like just one or two people at a time? And then you realize there's a huge market demand here. You got to go in big, or
That's right.
how
That's
did it,
right.
do you
That's
remember
right.
your first sale at all? I
I,
mean,
I don't really remember now. I was 10 at the time, so I'm almost 35, so everything's is really a blur.
two
But
seconds.
yeah, it went really well. I also got my brother involved.
Hey, two
He's also a
seconds,
year old.
okay? Two
Yeah,
seconds.
yeah.
2 seconds. I'm going to pause it. Yeah, so that you had your first sale, you realize that people are there's demand, and there's no one else that's stealing. You're like you become the kingpin. How quickly do you become the kid that has the candy fix? To get any get your needs met in the school. How like pretty quickly you ascend to that reputation, I guess, huh?
Yeah, I would assume I had a monopoly on all of this really.
It's also you should mention to this audience. I think this is not like this is definitely subversive. This is illegal in a sense, like based on the
Of
school
course.
rules. It's against school
Yeah.
policy. So,
That's right. That's right.
where these transactions take place? You'd be like in the recess outside. Did you have a station or behind the building? Were you in the bathroom, or how'd you transact in a way that didn't get the undue attention of the authorities?
Yeah, so definitely wars spread fast, especially along all the kids and everything. Especially the third grader, fourth grader, fifth grader, which I
You
was
deal for
at the
younger
time.
kids and older kids. You were
I
like
mean, uh,
you don't discriminate.
you know, money don't dis money don't discriminate. And so if you have money, I have candies, we can do the exchange, right? So I think if I remember correctly, I think I did it before school, and during recess, and then the breaks in between, and then after school. After school. Now here's a follow up with that. So I was doing this with my brother for about a couple weeks, and I thought, bright idea. It's like, well, why don't I sell it during class? Kids need it, right? I got it. Who cares?
Dude, you're like
Let's.
Scarface. You're dealing left and right, and then suddenly you overreach, man. You're like you get
I did.
greed. You
So
got greedy,
I
brother. You got greedy
I got greedy. My
during
actually
class.
my yeah during class, I
That's
guess
bold. Yeah.
my my teacher saw it, and she had so at the time one of my cousin Ton, he was in my class. We were in the same age and everything, so he was my personal translate for the first couple of years basically, and he kind of helped me assimilate and
Yeah.
make friends, things like that. And so my teacher had to explain to Ton, and Ton explained to me and also my parents. It's like, hey, you can't be doing this. So I'm like, ah, shoot, I overreach. I overreach. But of course, I
Well,
corrected.
yes.
I just, I just, I.
You could have asked. I thought maybe that you could have asked the teacher if you could cut her in on the profits a little bit. Like she could be like when the drug dealers pay off the cops, like you could pay
Yeah,
off your
yeah,
teacher.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
glad you didn't go down that road. It sounds like you chose the wise path. You weren't kicked out of school for this. Did your parents
No, no.
get calls from the principal or something, or how'd this go
Yeah,
down?
I guess so. I guess so. And
You
just like,
can't
hey, just
endorse
don't
your.
do that again. So from that moment, I just sell before school and after school. That was it. That was it. Not during class.
You kept up the deal, but you didn't do it on school property. So that's smart.
Yep,
Got to
yep,
stay 100
yep.
feet. It's like a no candy zone at the school. But
Hmm.
I think this really speaks to your personality. You see opportunities. You go in there with the customer focus. I bet you now. Well, give me talk about the upcharge you were giving on these things. Like, what was it? It must have been a pretty good return on investment, right? I mean, because you can buy a
Yeah,
big
so I would.
bag, you could buy a big bag of food of
Mhm,
Snicker bars and stuff, and I mean, you
mhm.
could. Were you selling just for like ones, twos, fives? What was your biggest sale if you remember?
So it would be, I don't know about the biggest sales, but I would buy something for 50 cents and I would sell it for $1. So it was like 100%
100%.
markup. Yep, yep, yep,
Wow,
yep.
man, that's
But at the same
impressive.
time, I think more importantly for me as a kid, I also was able to try out these candies, because I explained earlier, I didn't really have an opportunity to, or these things weren't available in Vietnam. And so, I was 10, I wanted to try new things as well. And I realized, I think payday just, it's a little bit too much peanut butters, or the peanuts itself, but I really did enjoy Kit Kat and sneakers.
Kit Kat and Snickers are classics. You cannot go
Yep,
wrong.
yep,
I
yep,
do see a lot of variation now. They're doing like Kit Kat with peanut butter, Kit Kat with vanilla chocolate, Kit Kat
yep,
with
yep.
mint. Like, what are you doing? Just go with the original, man. Stick with the original. Kit Kats are also great because you can break them apart and have like one now, one later. Like it's a pretty genius creation.
Actually, yeah, I don't know why, but my mom really likes Kit Kat because of that, because then she's able to break her. And, she's tiny. She's like 4'11", 120 pounds. So everything
She
she
only
eats is
needs
like a very
one,
small.
one
Yeah,
little
yeah,
thing.
exactly. So she likes to break it up and give one to me, give one to my brother, that kind of thing. That, I would say what I, uh, for me, I think what I took away from the experience was really, I think, really explain what America is, right? It really is the land of opportunity. I just created something, maybe not necessarily out of nothing, but I just saw it and I said, hey, I can turn it into something. And I think that's what really makes America what I really enjoy my time here. Again, I've been here for 25 years already, so I'm basic and American, and I really like that part. There's very little restriction. Now, I would say, some people look at with the amount of red tape, regulation, and taxes that small businesses have to go through and to start a business, really. Some see it as definitely negative, and I definitely see and understand that. But my approach is, I'm very surprised to see new businesses keep on coming online every single month, every single year,
Yeah.
even with all the red tape, even with all the difficulties. It's just extraordinary, really. I guess in a way, it is. As long as we still have this the golden goose of capitalism, I think we can really continue moving forward, right? Until then, but so far so good.
Yeah, man, that's a cool little takeaway. I see surveys every once in a while about successful entrepreneurs, people who've accomplished something over their career and their life. Some of them are a little pessimistic. They say like, if I had to do it all over again in today's environment, I couldn't have ever
Hmm. Hmm.
succeeded. And I think it's tough to make that estimation because to like what you're saying is very true. People still try. They come here, you figure something out, you try to find something you can do to create value for the world. You want to make people happy. Is it you know, a lemonade stand? I just saw a story about adults that are getting into lemonade stand game. There's this woman in the DC area who's got a great market like approach. She gets lemons are not that expensive and
Hmm.
it's unfortunately what I think her biggest barrier was weather. It's like weather dependent. She can turn and make a couple $1,000 on a weekend if she's got a nice festival. She can set up a table, squeeze lemonade. It's lemons, it's sugar, it's water, it's ice.
Hmm.
Those are pretty cheap products, and you can sell it for thirsty people in this area for 6, 7, and $8 a glass. I mean, you're turning over a nice profit there. So yeah, man, it's a cool thing. Your story is amazing. I love it as a reflection of you and your personality. And you've gone on to do many different things since we first met, which is also kind of cool. Seeing you flex your diverse interests and passions and skills. You're a man of international travel, whether it's Mexico, Vietnam. You're all over the place. And my favorite part, I'll say this. We'll close out with this. If you ever get a chance to meet Hua. We'll keep in touch, dude. We're gonna like do another episode whenever next time you're in town. We'll go out to eat and we'll talk over dinner. But this is a fun thing, man. When I go out with Hua to eat at a Vietnamese restaurant, we are world class service. You're talking to them, you're like snapping your fingers, you're like getting all this special treatment. I'm like, this is amazing. So you're definitely the guy to be with in the Eden Center for sure. I mean, I felt like we're celebrities walking around that place. It was awesome.
They're
You're,
definitely gonna take
you're
care of us.
respectful. I don't know how you do it, but you get people to provide the best service, and you do a great job. So anyway, it's been. I'm really glad that we had a chance to meet. I'm glad we stay in touch. I'm glad that you were my first ever interviewee on Raff's Brain. I hope folks enjoyed this special episode. If you like interviews, let me know. I'll do more of them. And until then, thanks so much, and I'll see you later. Have a good one.